Well, Richie, the first thing that attracted me to it is they asked me. No, I had an audition, and I felt good about it. And it was prior to the audition that they sent me the material, and it's a show named JUNO. I thought it was based on the movie. It's based on Juno and the Peacock, right? So I'd read the play years ago in college, but I put on the music they sent me, and it begins with this anthem that is so strong and emotional and powerful. So it sucks you right in, which it did to me. And I was putty in its hands, and I came to New York and auditioned, and Gary, in some misguided fashion, cast me.
Let's talk about the role. Talk about who you play.
Well, I play Captain Jack Boyle, who is the husband of Juno. And he's a very unusual man. He's a drunkard. I wouldn't say he's a liar, but he has a way of putting on a good story. And most importantly, he lies about his past. He claims to have sailed the world and suffered storm after storm from the Gulf of Mexico to the Antarctic Ocean. And he's a wonderful, colorful character.
Take me back. What attracted you to this project and this material?
Well, first off, Mark Blitzstein's music. I mean, I was asked a few years ago to sing a piece of his at Encores, The Ballad of the Bombardier, and his music is incredible. It's really just so strained and beautiful, and so that initially drew me to the project. And then the play that it was based on, Juno and the Peacock, as well as working with this director, Gary Hines, it's just a thrill. And I've always wanted to do a show here at Encore, so I'm just beside myself.
Okay, so you, along with Conrad John Schuck, is an Encore's virgin.
Yes, I'm very excited to get to be broken in with Conrad John Schuck. He actually played my father in Pippin in L.A. once upon a time, so I was thrilled to know he would be here, and I'd get to work with him again.
So have you seen Encore's productions?
I have never seen an Encore's production before, so it will be my first time in one and first time seeing one.
So I know you have a very short, I think it's 10 days of rehearsal, that's it. I know you know people who've done this. What are you expecting? What have they told you already? I mean, rehearsals have just started. So talk about that and what you're expecting.
Well, we've just started rehearsals, and we've been warned that it's like a crash course in a musical, that it just sort of, you can't believe that by day 4 you're doing a run-through of the show. But it's kind of fun, it's like everyone's pulling together, and we all get to have our books in our hands, and by the end of the first week we have a run through, and end of the second week it's over. So it sort of doesn't give you too much time to worry about which choices you're making. You just sort of have to make bold choices and go for it. And I think the pressure and putting in that timer on everything makes everybody just give their all. And you can see just on every single break we have, or every free moment, there's always something to be done. So it feels like we're back at summer camp again.
This is my first, yes. It's an extraordinary experience. It's a bit like, what can I say? It's a bit like as if I'm about to ride in the Kentucky Derby like a week on Thursday, and I've never been on a horse before. But for all that, it's exhilarating. I think there'll be a lot of adrenaline floating around, and a lot of fear as well.
Well, talk about this wonderful role you get to play.
It's a fantastic part. I'm playing Joxer Daly, who's the sort of the comedy character in Juno. It's one of the famous parts in Irish drama, and it's very interesting to see him singing for a change, which he doesn't do in the play. The music and the score, by the way, is absolutely fantastic. I think it's wonderful. What else? I'm back in New York, my favorite city in the world. I worked here last year with Gary Hines, who directed me in translations, and it was a wonderful experience, and I'm looking forward to repeating it this time, only at City Center.
She was mine when you were just a mother. Where would you be placed, mother? Didn't care. Now you've grown and you are rich when you are famous. Yes, you are. Guess who's running someone else's dirty clothes?
Talk about this great role you get to play.
Mary Boyle. I'm the daughter in the family with Vicky and John, and a sort of restless young woman who's sort of hoping to get out of the situation that she's in right now. And things sort of turn out not as well as she plans. She finds love and it sort of betrays her, and the ending is very beautiful in sort of how everything wraps up. So it's a big journey.
And what you're looking forward to with working at Encores?
I've never done an Encore show before, so I'm really, really excited. There's something about this whole process of it moving so fast and everything happening at once that I find very exhilarating and exciting. And this group of people is so wonderful. So
I play a widow who would prefer not to be, Maisie Madigan. She's a comic role, but she also has, like O'Casey, her serious moments. But mainly she's her good eye on life and herself, like myself, really.
Do you get to sing in the show?
Yeah.
Talk about the number that you do.
It's called You Poor, Poor Thing, about being a widow. How awful it is, because once you've had it, then you'd miss it.
Oh, I can't wait to see that next week. How well would you know the play before, Juno and the Paycock? Talk about that, and how different is the musical from the play?
Well, at the moment, the musical is, the balance, as you probably know in O'Casey, is always very delicate between almost vaudeville and total tragedy. I mean, you go from playing a vaudeville scene into picking up a dead son, and you have to do that and overarch. This, at the moment, because we're working on the big numbers, seems to be jollier, but the awful moments are there as well. So you have to have those, and they are there. Yeah. It's I've never been in Juno, but I've been in the others, Plough in the Stars and Shadow of a Gunman.
Talk about working with your director, Gary Hines.
Never worked with her before. Yeah, even though we're all in the same city. I'm working for her company in the summertime, but I kept on saying to her every time I meet her, I want to work with you, Gary. So here I am in New York.
And now you get to work on a musical with her.
Yes, isn't it funny?
I know it's very, very fresh. You just started rehearsals. What's been the best part of the experience so far up to today?
Listening to the chorus, the chorines and the ensemble. I find it absolutely heart-stopping.
Well, I just went to Dublin, and then we rented a car and we drove all the way across Ireland and ended up in Dingle. Yeah, so just doing a lot of people watching and listening to people and watching the way they walk and behave and learning a lot about the history. So.
One last question. Talk about working at Encores, because Michael Arden hasn't done it before. Conrad John Schuck hasn't done it, but you've done this before. Talk about what you love about the experience of working at Encore.
I like doing this because I have to just... I prefer it in some ways to a longer rehearsal period, because the experience is very condensed, and there's no time to fret about things that haven't, that won't be ready in time. You just have to take your first best guess and your first instincts and just dive in. And I think it's great as an actor. It's a great exercise.